Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Jamie Marchi is back in the news. And anytime Jamie is back in the news, it's always a good time. Well, apparently a resurfaced video is going around right now and it's going viral on X because it involves Jamie Marchi apparently proudly touting that she made a ton of changes to the show Panty Stalking English dub. And apparently she said that the whole point is that she wants the show to be different and original. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this white liberal woman is the deciding factor of whether or not you get something that's actually coherent and original to the story, or if you get her version of the story, which of course, anytime you get someone who's an activist like this, they're always going to give you their version of the story when they're in charge of a narrative that they never wrote. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to my manga channel. The links are in the description box below. I would love to see you there. So the headline reads, hot off the heels of her infamous dub of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid becoming the focus of yet another round of localization discourse, a video has resurfaced showing Funimation scriptwriter Jamie Marchi proudly boasting about the massive changes that she has made to the English script of the Panty and a Stocking with Garter Belt. So listen, I'm really over it when it comes to these whole localization debates, because at the end of the day, unless these people are fired, unless they are removed from the entirety of the anime and manga section, there is no way that they're going to stop doing what they're doing. They are inherently ingrained within identity politics. They live it, they breathe it. This is what they do. And unfortunately, we have to deal with certain aspects of that, because if you are a fan of dubs, then you are going to probably have to deal with a version of Jamie Marchi's story so long as she keeps dubbing anime. So it's a big problem. It really is, because people are loving anime and manga right now. They always have, and now it's even bigger than it's ever been, and people are looking for that content, and now they're not even realizing that, oh look, this is actually getting completely ruined by some angry feminist white liberal bitch from SoCal that is going completely crazy and injecting her identity politics in everything that she dubs. It's really unfortunate, and unless people are told about it more often and it's really brought to light, thankfully it is being brought to light, but unless it happens more and people bring it to light more and more, people like Jamie Marchi are going to be able to get away with this nonsense. And it might even turn some people off. Let's say you have some people who are looking to anime and manga to get away from the Hollywood entertainment that's out there right now, to get away from all the woke nonsense, and then they start reading it and they realize that some of the mangas that they're reading are extremely woke by Western standards, and it's because it's been dubbed that way, and then they get completely turned off and they end up leaving the scene completely. And it's unfortunate. We cannot allow that to happen. Manga and anime needs to be gatekept against these absolute morons who are not really here in good faith. They're not really here trying to enjoy the product like everybody else. They're not trying to bring you a great product like the mangakas are in Japan. No, they're trying to inject their Western civilization ideology into whatever they dub, because they can't actually write the stories themselves. If they could, this would not even be a conversation. They would be doing this for the entirety of the story instead of just certain parts of it. So it says, produced by Studio Trigger predecessor Gainax, Panty and Stalking with Garter Belt is a 2010 action-packed comedy anime that revolves around the misadventures of the titular Anarchy sisters, Panty and Stalking, a pair of angels whose constant bad behavior eventually gets them booted out of heaven and banished to the ghost-plagued Dayton City. Once there, the two are tasked with using their magical transforming lingerie weapons to defeat a number of Dayton City's evil spirits, as doing so will earn them the special heaven coin currency they need to buy their way back home. Now, seems like a pretty simple story, nice and funny story, and unfortunately when people like Jamie get involved with stories like this, they take something that's funny, something that's interesting, and they turn it into some political warfare novel piece. It really is bad. It says the topic of Panty and Stalking with Garter Belt's English dub was first raised in regards to the latest localization discourse, courtesy of its lead English dub scriptwriter and Panty voice actor herself, Marchi. On January 8th, offering her own take on the discourse, Lupin III, Prison of the Past video technician Kaylin Salcedo dismissively asserted that fans are unhappy with the English localization industry's constant butchering of Japanese works and declare we're acting as if writing a word you didn't like was akin to war crimes. Well, I mean, at this point, it might as well be. You can try to simplify it as much as you want. You can try to downplay it as much as you want, because that's what they're going to do, right? These women, if you watch that video where they got a whole bunch of backlash and all they said was, goes, oh, well, I have a vagina, deal with it. That is such a, I don't even know how to even explain it. That is such a trash way to downplay an argument. Like, what were you hoping to accomplish with that? Where were you hoping to go with that whole counter argument you have there about having a vagina? So they're going to go straight to the victim mentality, right? They're always going to do that because that is the easiest way to try to downplay an argument and get the argument stopped. But it's not going to stop it. We will not stop. They need to be called out as much as humanly possible, and their lives honestly need to be made as miserable as possible. So long as they are actively trying to make other people's lives miserable by ruining the content that people are enjoying, especially now as anime and manga take it to a whole nother level, if they're actively enjoying that, then everybody else should actively enjoy ruining their lives as much as possible. Not in terms of financial gain, but in terms of just overall making them feel highly uncomfortable. They should never be allowed to work in this space comfortably ever again. Their private lives, that's something totally different. Don't bother them. But in terms of the workspace, when they showcase themselves, just remind them everything that they do because they love it so much. Clearly, right, ladies? You guys love it so much, ruining people's enjoyment of content. So I guess we should ruin your enjoyment of your work life. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel. That may seem pretty extreme, but I really don't care. Like I said, keep their private life out of it. Don't bother them privately. But when it comes to work, when they're in their workspace, make sure they know how much they are ruining everything. So they have this little tweet here, and it says, in turn, Marchi taunted, if they really be so upset about literal translations, can you imagine how much they'd freak out if they effing watch Panty and Stalking? From there, Marchi was met with a comment from Twitter user LupinFan83, wherein they mocked all these trolls over one sentence referring to our patriarchy edit of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. They lose their minds if they watch ghost stories. For context, when given the Western rights to produce an English dub for Studio Pierrot's 2001 anime adaptation of Toru Tsunemitsu's children's series Ghost Stories, localization studio ADV Films was given nearly free reign to do as they pleased with the script by network owner Fuji TV. Their only rules, as recalled by voice actor Greg Ayres, is who himself provided the dub performance for the series, Leo Kakenoki and ADV Films crew, were that we wouldn't change the names of any of the characters, we could not change how that ghost was killed, and we couldn't change the meaning of that episode. As such, the ADV Films recording sessions went absolutely off the rails, resulting in one of the most feverish dreams and nonsensical dubs of all time and a subsequent existence as a cult classic. And yeah, to put it quite simply, somebody like Jamie Marchi, if she has nothing literally stopping her from changing anything, then guess what? She'll change everything. You're giving this woman too much power. You're giving her way too much creative control over what is actually being translated. And unfortunately, what that means is that entire scenes go translated so badly to the point where they completely lose their meaning. The original meaning in the Japanese text is now lost to time and is translated to something completely opposite in English text, and people are looking at conversations that are not meant to be that way, and they are looking at it from a totally different lens. It completely changes storylines, and that's what they're trying to do. These women can't write anything. They don't write their own storylines. All they do is translate. So their way of injecting identity politics into something they can't write is to control what actually gets translated so people don't even realize that it's happening. It really, really sucks, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an anime and manga fan, be careful what the translations are doing, especially who they're coming from. And if you see Jamie Marchi's name on anything, literally anything, I can promise you that is not what the story is from the Japanese market. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.